couple of quick orders of business, then we'll go ahead and move on to our wonderful display out in the bays there. First and foremost, Colin, wherever he went, there he is, wanted to talk to us about an upcoming Aries event next week.
You want the treasurer's report first?
Yeah, might as well do the treasurer's report while we're at it.
Okay. Treasurer's report. In our checking account, we have $1,020. In our savings account, we have $3,001. So we're going to be taking some money out of the Springbrook repeater account to pay for equipment insurance on that repeater down there. Let's see, I deposited $140 from, it's not here, from Bob Krippus, who purchased the FT 3236 or something, 3536, whatever it was. That UHF, VHF, he purchased that. So that money's been deposited. And I wrote out a check to Joe for purchase of the reimbursement for the video equipment, $855. So we're still sitting pretty well. Okay, real quick, one of the reasons that we have the Springbrook repeater is that Dave saw the need to have a way of getting us into the National Weather Service in the Quad Cities. And so he got that going, and we have the repeater down there. Well, they had some difficulties down at National Weather Service of getting people to come and man the equipment. And we've done some talking to people, and a lot of it is too many chiefs that don't want to work with each other. There's about four or five counties around there, and the difficulties. So I've talked to Rick Keeney, who was head of the NWS down there several times, and I called him the other day, and I said, Rick, we'd like to come down and activate the equipment just to know that we can do it again, because it's been a long time since we've did a repair check with them, and we talked about it, and he said, yeah, he says, and I think things have changed here quite a bit, and he says, I think we're ready to go again. So we're going to do two things. Dan, I, and our section manager are going down and meeting at 5 and talk with him about the different repeaters in the area and what's going on. And then at 6, we want to have a simulated emergency test. And that so are going to be net control and logger, and they are going to down there. Now, there's a bit of a problem here. It doesn't work logically in some ways, because when we're down at the National Weather Service listening on the repeater, we'll hear everything because it's all linked together. But still, we'd like you to put together some hypothetical reports, ask you to note time, important we have location, and then whether it's a report of high winds, structural damage, trees down, light poles down, quarter-size hail, water standing in the street or up on the gutters and so forth. See if I missed anything. I think that's about it. We'd like you to be precise in your reports. And Net Control will read the report back to you and ask that if it's correct. And then they will convey those reports down to the National Weather Service. So, any questions? Oh, there's Kelly. So anyway, this is Tuesday the 16th at 6 p.m. So I'd really appreciate, and you can do several reports. You know, you can even you can even say that you're up in Asbury, and then the next time you can say you're downtown or something like that, sending in the report. Yes, Larry. Yeah. Right. Well, like I say, listening down there to the Springbrook, because the repeaters are linked, it's a duplication, but yeah, we're going to do it. No. No. Yeah, and we'd like to have reports from Galena, also Hanover, Epworth, and Farley, all those areas. So good. Any questions? 6 o'clock. 6 to just 6 to 7. We'll keep it to an hour. Just keep them coming fast and furious. I shouldn't say fast and furious. Just keep them coming with logical speed and everything. We have a guest over here or something. The 16th of this month, next week. Yeah. Right. So, all right. Joe, we've got a gentleman back there.
Yes, we do. Hello, sir. Doing well yourself?
Good, good. I'm just a walk-in. I'm sorry if I'm a little late. I read about your group, and I'm just interested in ham radio, so I'm here to. Oh,
Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, please feel free.
sure.
All right. He won't bite too hard anyway. Ornery is fun, though. Alrighty. I'm pretty sure the only other couple of things before we move on to the program tonight, unless someone corrects me, is a quick plug and reminder that next month is June, which means Field Day. We'll go over that more next month. Don't worry, I'm not going to hammer it into you today. Just planting the bug. Start thinking about if you want to work it. If you're a CW guy, which there's a few of you out there, you could use some of those operators. Colin. That was me. That was me. So, I was more voluntold, so. And if you have any questions, or if you want to sign up for a specific time already, or if you want to help with breakdown setup, if you've got antennas, if you've got just a desire to even be there, feel free to shoot me an email. I have to update my profile on QRZ, but it's joseph.s.manis, so my name, @gmail.com. And then July will be the club picnic, so we won't have a meeting that month because it's the Saturday before the meeting, so why pull you all out of it? And I think that was about it, unless anybody had any. Oh, yeah, Fred. Yes. Hang on, Fred. Let me get over to you. Let me get to you. I know we have at least 2 ladies in Hanover watching, so.
Oh, okay. Let me start over then. Just for the benefit of the guests that we certainly welcome into your interest in the hobby, and anybody else that might be present. you might want to give a brief overview of what field day amounts to, what it is, its duration, and
Very good. Thank you, Fred. Yes. So, yep. This is actually more for online. So unfortunately, if you're talking, I have to ask you to project still. This is going to be for the benefit of those that are joining us virtually. So field day is and again, someone feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm still kind of new to the hobby myself. Don't even worry about it, man. We all start somewhere. It's a, full weekend event that is national, and it's all based on high frequency radio. So it's run through the club. The club is the control station, so it doesn't matter what class license you have, you're still covered. As long as we have a control operator there, we're good. Right, Colin? That's how that works? Okay, perfect. And it's literally an all-day event. Setups on Saturday, correct? And then breakdown on Sunday. We do work overnight as well. What am I missing? Location, yes. This year we will be out at the American Red Cross. So, even if you are overnight, we might grab some cots and take a nap if we need to. Anything else that I might have missed that's of vital? I don't know if we're going to try to run a digital. I hadn't really thought about that. I mean, if someone wants to, you're free to. Well, you'd have to ask the treasurer. Treasurer? You get 2 donuts out of the 4 dozen. Yes, sir. And Richard, we greatly appreciate all of your donation to the club on this one as well. It means a lot to those that are able to get the equipment or the parts that they need, and of course, whatever they spend on that goes back into the club. So we greatly appreciate that, and thank you profusely for that. All right, does anyone have any other business they would like to discuss? I'm not seeing hands and no one's yelling at me, so let's go ahead and move this thing on out to the bays and enjoy our presentation on portable antenna. Oh. Yep, Mike, probably a good idea. I usually have an introduction written, and I didn't do one for Mike. I apologize. I didn't get back to you on email on that one. So please feel free to introduce yourself, how long you've been in the game, what your interests are. It is green. We're green. We're good.
Hi, my name is Mike Chilofich, NG9B. Fenimore, Wisconsin is where we live. I brought my son with me. He's KD9TQW. I've been licensed for about 4 years now. Main interest in the hobby was emergency communications. That's kind of what drew me in, and operating portable is where I found my home. I do a lot of parks on the air. You may have heard me on the repeater soliciting contacts on Simplex. That's me doing parks on the air, and I do them here, there, and everywhere. My son and I both do it together sometimes, pass the microphone back and forth. It's a lot of fun. I find it to be a great place to experiment with antennas, which is another aspect of the hobby that I really enjoy. Seeing what works better, and what doesn't work. So, with that, we can head on out to the bay. I've got some examples of some portable antennas, and show you what I use out in the field. Oh boy. It's like low VHF,
Yeah.
right? Probably not.
Okay.
I appreciate that. Oh, I suppose for with the tuner you could make it work somehow, or with a coil. Yeah, do that. WR would be really high.
Got a hot mic. Yeah.
Oh.
Be careful. Be careful what you say.
Oh no. No, we're not transmitting today. Kind of come on over here, guys. Yes, this is portable. I've used all this stuff repeatedly portable. Pretty good. It's really tough. I had it as a vertical semi-permanently one winter with 50 feet of wire around it. I used it as a vertical at home. It worked perfect. But then decided to use it for portable use. It telescopes. Yeah. Yeah. All right, I guess I'm going to just start over here. It's no particular order, but this is a collection of some of the antennas, not all of them, but some of the antennas that I use portable. I'll just start here. One of my favorites, the Wolf River coil setup. Definitely different configurations you can make out of it. This one right now is set up for quarter wave, 20 meters. Something I've been experimenting with here that only recently learned about is using a aluminum window screen for a radial field. Seems to work wonderful. I don't know all the math behind it. I'm sure having more metal on the ground or more radial spread out would probably be better. But as far as setup time goes, and the fact that dogs and pedestrians aren't tripping over the radials, I mean, this beats it. I really like this setup. Yes. Yes, otherwise it gets bent like it is right now. It tipped over on me once in the wind. I have that. That's just their mini coil. With a 101-inch whip, it goes 10 meters to 40. With this, I think it's set at 40 right now with the 17-foot whip. I don't think it'll do 80. I think it'll do 60 though. I can't remember off the top of my head. Oh, okay. Yep. Yeah, that works really well so far. Yep. VBR. Yep. Yep. Copper theoretically would be one of the best conductors you can use, but in actuality you can use anything that conducts. That's stainless steel. Stainless steel is a terrible conductor, but it does work. I think it's due to the skin effect. I think kind of don't know all the science behind that, but anyway. So yeah, this is the Wolf River. I've got all kinds of parts and pieces for it to configure it however you want. Seems to work pretty well. This here is a antenna I have experimented with a little bit and I need to get back on. It's a magnetic loop antenna. Very directional. Most of the radiation is this way. So you would listen and transmit more in this direction than in this direction. This version here I think is only good for 20 or 25 watts, so it kind of limits you what you can do. But if you could figure out where your station is that you're trying to talk to, just go by ear. Wherever he's the loudest, he or she's the loudest, they'll hear you the loudest. It doesn't have to be very high off the ground, this is probably more than enough. But I've talked coast to coast with it, using 20 watts of power, no problem. This one goes from 80 meters up to 17 meters. I believe the diameter of the loop kind of limits you, so I guess if you had a bigger loop, maybe you could do lower frequencies, higher frequencies if you had a smaller loop. Very touchy to tune. This knob is not big enough to tune this thing. It's just the slightest movement moves it all over the place. So it's really good for POTA if you want to stick to a certain frequency and call CQ. But if you're trying to hunt somebody, it's a tedious task to get it tuned in. But it's an interesting product, very small, compact, lightweight, all the above, small footprint. I've used this a few different times activating. It's amazing what you could do at 5 watts in one of these. You could talk coast to coast with it. Oh, what else do I have here? This is probably, if I have the real estate at a park, this is probably the one I'm going to set up. This is just a end-fed wire antenna. This one goes from 10 to 40, so 10 meters, 15, 20, and 40 meters. This is a survey stick, or grade rod, if you want to call it that. 25-foot long fiberglass pole. I got it used from the UW Madison system. I think I paid $8 for it. Survey stick, like for a survey crew. Grade rod is another name for it. Very heavy duty. I've done a lot of dumb stuff with it, and it hasn't failed me yet. I've left it out over one whole winter. Erected as a vertical antenna, a random wire vertical antenna. It worked really well. But yeah, that's what I used as vertical. Yeah. Yeah, this configuration here, no tuner. That brings up an interesting point. I've got tuners and they work. I try not to use them at all. I don't even pack them anymore. I try to keep all my antennas resonant or make them resonant with coils. Yeah. I don't have anything against them. It's just, it keeps my setup simpler. It's less things to go wrong with it. And I've had really good luck with it. No, nope. Yeah, depending on, well, actually, this here's my HF antenna on my car. This is a screwdriver antenna. So the coil's inside here. My car is the other half of the antenna. It tunes 40 through 6, 2 and 70 centimeters if you have a radio capable, but I don't. But it's all at a push of a button. I use this configuration all winter long at parks, all over the place. Just pull in, shut the car off. I've got this battery pack here I use pretty much exclusively now. It's 2 sealed lead acid batteries, 24 amp hours each, so 24 amp hour capacity total. And I can make as many as 250 contacts with it, and that's when the display starts to fade out on the radio. 90 watts. That is a flagpole holder from Amazon. About $20. I couldn't begin to start to make that for $20, so I went the easy route. It's the receiver, the 2-inch receiver part, and the upright portion. Yeah, this is all one piece. Something like that. The USGI camouflage poles also fit in there. And I've utilized that with a beam on it, with a 2-meter beam, using that before. You have to stack them and put them on. It's kind of dicey. That's a lot better method of putting them up, but it does work doing it that way. Yeah, here's another end fed that I use. This is kind of a newer product by a company called Chameleon. You add this on the end of it, and it'll give you 10 through 80, every band in between, even work bands. I've been playing with that this winter at some different campsites. It's been really handy. Last time I was here at your club meeting, I did a NVIS presentation. This is one of my favorite antennas to use for that. 40-meter dipole, set 3 feet off the ground using fence posts like you see down there, the fiberglass fence posts. I'll set this up at a campsite. Doesn't take long at all. Works great in a storm because there ain't much to blow over. And put a bag over the BNC binding post and start talking. Works awesome for 3 states away or so. I've talked all over the Midwest with this antenna. It's a lot of fun. Something else I always bring, antenna analyzer, because it always seems like you have some sort of issue. Loose connection, broken wire, whatever. This is kind of a newer brand, the Rig Expert. I really like this one. Very small, compact. Made in Ukraine, so get them while you can, I guess. This one only goes up to 200 megahertz. That's all I can tell you. I don't. Yeah, the stick. Yeah, stick 200. Yeah. I don't do a whole lot of UHF out in the field. Otherwise, I've got the bigger 600 megahertz one. I guess I didn't want to leave VHF UHF out of the picture today, so I brought this. This is a complete J-pole for 2 meters, 70 centimeter. Aluminum threaded rods that thread in together. Nice compact package. Here is a ICOM 2300 that I use out in the field. Got a sealed lead acid battery in the can with it. Really handy. Just pop the top open, hook up the microphone, and it's ready to go. Hook up, I guess, you gotta hook up an antenna, but I've done a few different activations from Blue Mountain State Park over by Madison, Wisconsin. If you guys are familiar with that at all. It's a huge mound, probably 500 feet in elevation above everything else. So it acts like a natural tower. And I put a beam on the back of the car, 2-meter beam up about 20 feet. You would not believe the coverage you get from there. I think so. I don't know that for a fact. I haven't gotten into soda yet. But I've heard of this.
One's out in the guy's field, and the other one's piloting off the state park.
Okay. There's a few others around. Platteville Mound is a soda mound. A soda operating point. Yeah. That's the only one I can think of off the top of my head. Other than, yeah, I think Blue Mound is. Okay. Yeah. Summit's on the air. Park's on the air. Yeah, don't call a soda guy's activation a Park's on the air because they get upset. I've done it accidentally before. Well, you could drive up to a Summit. There's quite a few of them. But yeah, traditionally those guys are QRP only. You know, small wire antennas. Yeah, whatever they can pack up a mountain or a Summit. Yeah, they're rougher conditions than what we've got most of the time. But, this is one of the rigs I use most of the time, and I have one in the car too. This is the Yaesu FT891. Nice little rig, 6 meter through 160. Yeah, just a great little radio. Nice size. I've got one in the car right now. The head separates from it, so I've got the main body under the front seat. This stays up in my operating area. Yeah, there's my battery pack there. All right, I guess I'll leave this one for last. This is probably my newest favorite antenna. It isn't my design per se, but I improved on it a little bit. It started off life as a two-element 20-meter beam, shortened. Elements are only 10 feet long. I then quickly converted it into a 2-element 15-meter beam, tested it out and had really good luck with it. And then this incarnation is a 3-element for 10 meters. And it has been a lot of fun this year. I've taken it out on 3 different activations. two of the activations I had the coolest European pileup I've ever experienced. One time I was at Pikes Peak State Park, across from Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin, on the Iowa side. And I set up about 9 o'clock in the morning, aimed towards Europe. I had 100 contacts that morning, and 75 were from Europe. And I was just running 90 watts on one of those little radios there. 10 meters, yeah. Yep. I never had so many Europeans calling me. It was ridiculous. I felt like DX. It was so much fun. Guys just in awe. They're some of them guys were just using quarter wave CB antennas that they had retuned, and they just couldn't believe that they could hear me. Yeah. There was a guy in Poland who got a hold of me on Facebook, and he recorded our contact that we had and posted the video on Facebook. So that was pretty neat to see.
39?
No, it's a call sign off the top of my head. Yep, sideband, yep. Yeah, there's guys that use CW and digital modes and stuff like that when they're doing their parks on the air. But, yeah, I've just stuck with sideband.
How do you feel about it?
I dabbled in it a little bit, and that's as far as I got. It's got its place, I guess. I guess I never figured I'd be much of a talker on the radio, but it turned out I am. So, Parks on the Air is a lot of fun. You get to know some of the people, if you want to call it that. You get people that you've gotten dozens, 50 times, 100 times even, some of the same people, and you get to kind of know them. Quick little chats, and then off you go again. So that's been a lot of fun. Yeah. If I want to do a quick activation, get as many as possible, I go to 20 meters. If I want to play around for a bit, I'll go to the higher bands. In the evening, 40 meters is a lot of fun because, all the signals all of a sudden creep up there and everybody's strong. 80 meters is fun at night too. It can be, yeah. Especially with a vertical. That's where the NFEDs come in nicely, unless there's a thunderstorm. I used ham sticks for the longest time, and tried to get away from them because they are really noisy. But, the Yaesu does, yep. I have a little bit, not much. I've got a dipole for 160. Yeah, I've got a full-size military dipole that'll go out to 160. I really want to set that up one of these nights. I really want to do that. It's just a wire. It's just a spool out. It's got 320 feet of wire, I think, total. Something like that. Yeah, I was going to set up 3 of these out in the field somewhere and play around, but I just haven't had the ambition yet. It's a little bit of work setting this stuff up, but actually, my boy helped me tonight set this up. I had all this stuff laid out as you see it now in a half hour. That's no joke. By myself, I could set this up in a half hour. Usually I have it up at 20 feet, so it'd have 3 more poles under it. But, you get kind of good with setting some of the stuff up, and some of the stuff that doesn't work out or doesn't set up real nice, you just don't do it again, I guess. This is probably the most labor-intensive antenna I have to set up, but it's definitely worthwhile. And it does work well on 20 meters. I've had it out during solar storm events, and ended up hunting park to parks because they were the only guys out there. And I'll aim it. That's the director there. So I'll steer it. I've got a cable or a piece of rope I run up to it with a sandbag, and I get my compass out, and get the bearing, and aim it, go back to the radio, and try calling them. Yep. It's like a wire Yagi.
What's that, a fishing pole or something?
That is, yep. It's a crappie rod. Yep. It started off as a 13-foot crappie rod, but the The last section is really flimsy, so I don't use that. I take that out. So they're 10 foot now. They're pretty rigid. I've had them out in some hellacious winds. I've had them all guyed out. I got it from another ham. The idea from another ham. I had bought a version of this antenna from him. It was the 20 meter version, and so then I've modified it and made other elements. You have to swap out the elements and then change locations. That's what the other holes are for in there. They're just on dowel rods. It's a really simple idea, except you're married to buying these fishing poles for. But I mean, there's worse things you could be buying. Yeah. Last year for field day with the Platteville Club, I had this antenna set up with the 20 meter elements, and we had a lot of fun with that. Michael and I were talking to Hawaii later that Saturday night. It was a lot of fun. Just kind of beaming it around and seeing what was out there.
Hey, did you guys take the Wisconsin QSO party this year?
I don't know if the results are out yet.
Oh.
I only got to operate for 2 hours. I had to work that day. I've never been able to run that the whole day. I've always had to work for some reason.
Well, the last 7 years, 6 hours has taken it. So.
Oh. Does anybody have any questions on questions in general? You can hear them. You can hear it on the radio. If you can hear it on 20 meters, it's close. Yeah, usually I try to keep an eye on the weather if I have internet, or, if I have phone capability, yeah, I'll try to keep an eye out for the weather. You always want to tear down before it rains, for the most part. Most of these you can actually leave out. I've left this up in campsites numerous times when it's raining, not in an electrical storm. But usually I put a grocery bag over it and tie it, and so far I've had good luck with that. I don't like getting these wet. These telescoping antennas never seem to dry out when you get them wet. So yes, and I think they corrode from the inside. So that doesn't come out if it's raining out or chance of rain.
I probably missed it, but this telescoping antenna, did that come with the Wolf River coil, or did you get it separate?
I bought it separate, I think. I didn't buy it as a package. I bought one package from them, and I don't even remember what it was, because I've got like one of everything of theirs now, I think.
So is this available to them, though?
This configuration, yes, with the mini coil, the 17-foot whip, and the bigger legs. Yeah, I made those legs, but you could buy those from them too. I use sandbags on them. Normally, I've got they kind of look like saddlebags almost, but Amazon specials, they're cheap. But yeah, I put one over each leg, and it's really secure. Yeah, it hangs over top. Yep. I've got small tent pegs, 10 peg in each, going towards the ground. That works too. But the sandbags are a little more secure.
You leave the elements intact and haul them in a rip when you haul it?
No, they collapse down to about
And you just
this
rip the
long.
wire double up as you collapse them?
Nope. There are brass winders. There's brass winders incorporated into them for the fishing pole or for the fishing wire. I just loop it around there. And I use the Velcro straps to secure everything. I'm really kind of. I do, yeah. I don't, yeah. They're zip tied on the main section. But yeah, I'm kind of finicky how I package everything, and I don't know, I do it the same every time, and I know what to expect, and then nothing gets damaged.
You do it the same way every single
Yep.
time. It's gonna unroll the same way.
And then I do things like this, like put the caps on everything because I'm afraid that I'm going to ruin something.
Well, do you really want to have to replace the coax?
No, and I don't want a surprise when I go to set this up, and then it's like, oh no, I didn't bring a spare. Yeah.
Really appreciate you bringing this all in for us.
Yeah, no problem.
Kind of impressed how quick the setup went too.
Yeah, half hour. Maybe a couple minutes more, but not much.
That's still a really quick appointment
Yeah,
for this many antennas.
yeah,
It was just this one to be like, yeah, I could see that. I could see that taking a half hour.
yeah. It's a little bit more.
What's the OD on the classical very thick?
I could not tell you, Colin. It's about the same as these.
What do you
Yeah,
think the
I couldn't tell
diameter
you.
is?
I think that's 1 and inch
Huh?
Inch and a half.
something.
Is it half? You think
Yeah.
that-
Oh, this $20 flagpole thing. Where'd you find that?
Amazon.
So what's the nomenclature on it? What do you say?
Flagpole holder, receiver hitch flagpole holder.
Okay.
Yep.
I'd say probably 1.5 to 2 inches at the base.
See, I've got one that you drive the car wheel up on, but I don't know if it's.
Isn't that better?
That's really
Well,
handy.
yeah.
The-
Well, I
the-
don't have car
The,
hitch,
the,
though.
the only
Oh,
issue
well.
I have is I cannot open the tailgate
Yeah.
on any of my vehicles.
Yeah,
My
but
boy's
I
got
don't
an old
know
Tahoe
if
with the barn
my-
doors. You can open the barn doors with that, but not with
my
not with
base is
anything
like
else I've got.
I don't know.
Yeah, my boy was just telling me that too. I said, yeah, I know.
Far enough to bring it back so you can get
Yeah. Well, I got you can open up the glass. You just can't
That's
open
good
up the whole tailgate. Yes, and that's I know. I know. We're actually going on my boy and I are going on a POTA expedition of sorts up in Canada in June. And we're hitting up. We're staying at a hotel instead of camping. We wanted to camp. So we kind of I don't know what I want to set up because we're going to like 4 different parks up there, and I want to try to hook that. And I just put a brush guard on the front of this Jeep. I want to try to hook that to the front because then I got this like tent shelter that goes on the back of the Jeep, and I kind of want to keep the back end open. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet, but I might just use the Wolf River. But I'm kind of wanting to use the end fed so I could get some of the locals here on 40 meters. That's kind of my goal, is to get somebody I know while I'm up there. I mean, that'd be kind of fun
You can do both.
because I can never really get most of the locals anyway. It seems like on HF.
Oh no, none that I know of use Nivis. So.
Oh yeah.
Where's Parkville filled in?
We don't know yet. I think we're gonna talk it over tomorrow night for sure. I'm pushing for Grant County Sheriff's Department where we had it last year.
What was that?
The Grant County Sheriff's Department by Lancaster. That's where we had it last year.
Yeah, we used to have the meetings.
Yeah. Yep. That's where I'd like to see him have it, but we'll have to put it up for a vote. We don't really have any other leads that I know of yet, but yeah, tomorrow night we'll be discussing that more.
Is your pastor left yet?
Yes.
Or they-
Yeah, he went to the first club meeting of his club over there in Michigan now. Yeah, they got a place right by the lake or something, and I don't know. They got all kinds of cool stuff.
Where's the ad up there?
You remember what town he's in? I don't know.
I used to live up there. I was up at Grand Rapids. I used to go up to town for a little bit north of it. It's smaller, but a lot nicer than
What's the name of the town?
the Lowell. A lot nicer than the main one for the county. You know, they had super receivers. They had good receivers, but
Oh,
not nearly
th- I think this is like kind of right across from Milwaukee. I want to say. It's right on the
That could be
lake.
Grand Rapids or Holland.
I don't know. I don't know that.
My grandparents were in Succotash, and my aunt in Holland, so that should be about right if it's directly across Milwaukee.
That's a pretty big park there.
I'm gonna steal this from you real
Yeah.
quick. And of course, thank you again. Thank you, much appreciated. I know. Not terribly worried about it. I was just gonna do a quick wrap up and call it good. And kill the mic and let you run it till whenever. Thank you to everyone that was able to join us online. We hope you appreciated or enjoyed the presentation tonight, and we hope to see you again next month. Enjoy just kind of the camaraderie that's going on.